Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa sallallahu wa sallam. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Al-Quran with the Jews of the Quran spares. Continuing the reading from Surah An-Nur. And we begin this session, inshallah, by addressing verse 27. This is an in-between verse between the two selections. أعوذ بالله السميع من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تدخلوا بيوتا غير بيوتكم حتى تستأنسوا وتسلموا على أهلها ذلكم خير لكم لعلكم تذكرون. O believers, do not enter any house other than your own until you have asked for permission and greeted its occupants. This is best for you, so perhaps you will be mindful. There are other verses that inshallah we will cover, but let's address verse 27 first. So, O believers, do not enter any house other than your own until you have asked for permission and greeted its occupants. This is best for you, so perhaps you will be mindful. The Sunnah, obviously, the way of the Prophet ﷺ, is that you ask for permission 3 times, meaning that if you knock on the door, if you ring a bell, and no one answers, you may repeat this again and then again 3 times. So if there is no permission, he should leave. This is in a hadith, in a sound tradition, hadith sahih, that Abu Musa radiallahu anhu, he asked for permission to enter into the presence of Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu 3 times, and he did not hear any permission, so he left. Then Umar asked his household, didn't I hear Abdullah bin Qais, the voice of asking for permission? Grant him permission. So they went after him. They found that he went away. When later on he returned, Abu Musa, he asked him, why did you leave? He said, I have asked for permission 3 times and I did not hear any permission. And I have heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, if one of you asks for permission 3 times and he is not granted permission, he should leave. Then Umar wanted to verify that this is indeed a sound tradition. He asked Abu Musa, either you bring me a proof that this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, or I will punish you. In fact, literally it said, وَإِلَّا أَوْجَعْتُكَ ضَرْبًا, I will hit you. It's really, the Muslim community is the true believers would never lie against the Prophet ﷺ, would never say the Prophet ﷺ said and he did not say. They did not forge traditions. The true believers, they have never done this. In fact, mentioning this, it has been said in the area of verification of the hadith and isnad, the chain of narrators, and they have said, these scholars of hadith, no woman ever lied against the Prophet ﷺ. She never, no one ever forged a tradition. No woman ever invented something. Subhanallah. You talk about a long history. So all the forged traditions are the making of men. So he told him this, and Abu Musa went to a group of people from the Ansar, and he told them what Umar al-Khattab said, and they told him, no one will be your witness except our youngest, meaning that our youngest will be your witness. So Abu Sa'id al-Khudri went with him, and he told Umar, about that, and ultimately so this is a sound tradition, asking for permission 3 times. And we have a hadith that the Prophet ﷺ himself asked uh, for permission. He visited Sa'ad bin Ubadah, and the Prophet ﷺ said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sa'ad said, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. We have two versions of this hadith. In both cases, Sa'ad used a lower pitch. He spoke softly, and obviously you would know why in a minute, inshallah. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sa'ad said, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And even the Prophet ﷺ, because he did not raise his voice, Sa'ad did not raise his voice. The Prophet ﷺ did not hear until he did 3 times, and Sa'ad did respond 3 times, but the Prophet ﷺ did not hear him. So the Prophet returned. Sa'ad followed the Prophet ﷺ. He said, O Messenger of Allah. And he spoke beautifully. He told him, no salam from you except that I have heard it. That was in my ear, and I did respond to you. But he explained why he lowered his voice. He said, I wanted to have more of your salam. People don't realize this. People don't understand this adab and this. It's a beautiful barakah, and I love the people who genuinely speak about the barakah. There's barakah from being at Al-Aqsa Mosque. There's barakah, inshallah, in the dua. But this is the Prophet ﷺ says, peace be upon you. It's the dua of the Prophet saying. So Sa'ad bin Ubadah wanted to hear this time and again. And I hope that people understand this. I'm not talking about the language. I'm talking about the concept. So he wanted more of the salam of the Prophet, which is very beautiful. Very, very touching indeed. But it's... So he wanted the barakah. He wanted the salam of the Prophet ﷺ. So then the Prophet ﷺ, he welcomed the Prophet inside his house, and he brought to him raisins, and the Prophet ﷺ ate. When he was done, he said something that we continue to say when we are invited. أكل طعامكم الأبرار وصلت عليكم الملائكة وأفطر عندكم الصائمون. The same hadith, different, just slightly different, with maybe there's no need to, because essentially it's the same. Sa'ad wanted the Prophet ﷺ to have more of his salam, more of his greeting of peace. It's the dua of the Prophet ﷺ. People don't understand when we say to each other, Assalamu alaikum. That's the dua. Peace be upon you, peace be with you. So Assalamu alaikum dua. And that's a beautiful thing. If there's a comment which is, if this was the issue then, what about us today? It has been said that Ibn Abbas, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him and his father, he said 3 verses people ignored. One of them, إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. He said, والأدب كله قد جهده الناس. He said, do I need to have permission to enter into the presence of my orphan sisters who live with me in the same house? في بيت واحد, most probably, and for a long period, many houses had one large room. Until I remember the old houses that were built sometime towards the end of the century in Silwan. The house would have a very large room with a dome, because reinforced concrete did not exist then. In fact, it's more realistic. I would say not much privacy, but it's realistic in the sense of birth took place in this room, death took place in this room. Breakfast and lunch and dinner, if they had 3 meals, that would be in this room. The bedroom, because the kitchen was simply a closet in the wall, and it would be bedroom at night. The mattresses, they could be folded and they put in again an opening in the wall. These walls were very wide. In the morning, the mattresses go up into that large closet. It's not a closet, it's like an opening in the wall, not opening to the outside, but enough. It's wide enough and big enough to accommodate these mattresses and comforters and what have you. And you will put no furniture, like you talk about sofas, and mostly there's maybe a carpet and something to put just high enough so that you will not be cold in winter. That's really now a living room. It's the same space, and people did wash inside their showers, simply a container, and they would sit at any rate. So he asked whether he should really have permission, like should he knock when he goes home and it's only his orphan sisters? And the answer was yes. Yes, you should have permission from you. Like your sister would say, "Come in," and then it basically Ibn Mas'ud said you should have permission, by your mothers. You don't want to go and your mother is not in, wearing appropriately. Maybe she's moving from one place to the other, changing. Then there was this question about, does a man have to have a permission when he goes home and only his wife is home? And it's not obligatory to have a permission, but this is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to have such a permission, in the sense of let her know that you are coming. Do not surprise her, because she might be not wearing. Maybe she was really cleaning and she was really cooking and she was this and she was that. And she loves to simply take off the working clothes and simply change and be ready for your, uh, for your coming home, if you will. In fact, the adab in the adab was and still is that people, for example, uh, Zainab, the wife of Abdullah bin Mas'ud, she said that when Abdullah bin Mas'ud used to go home, he would uh, kind of cough, like make a sound, like just something like this, that he's coming home, something like that. And we still have this in town. We have a neighbor who, once he goes, once he's on the stairs, and he suspects that someone will leave. If he hears that our door is open, he will make the same noise. He will cough or something, and he might say something before really going up, before he is visible, before he sees anyone, just in case if one of the women in the family is saying, just simply seeing someone to the door. And the Prophet ﷺ used to, when he used to come from travel, he would not surprise his household. So once he arrived in Medina early in the day, and he on the edge of Medina, and he stayed on the outskirts until he said that we will enter later on at the end of the day. Uh, and he did specify that, a woman will, who are unkempt, will comb their hair. And and he mentioned something that I will liberally say, that they will take care of themselves once they know that their husbands that just arrived. And this is again something beautiful. It's just like the when one is almost around the house, returning from the mosque, returning from work, returning from a meeting, whatever. With the presence of phones today, these cell phones, why not simply say "Assalamu alaikum"? Do you need anything? Should I bring anything with me? I'm around the corner. I'm about to, So this is something like this. If you don't find anyone at home, فإن لم تجدوا فيها أحدا فلا تدخلوا حتى يؤذن لكم. And if you find no one at home where you are asked for permission, do not enter until you have been given permission. وإن قيل لكم ارجعوا فارجعوا. And if you are told leave, if you are asked to leave, in the first instance there is no permission, nobody answered. If it's really straightforward, go back, then you should leave. وإن قيل لكم ارجعوا فارجعوا. Don't be offended. وإن قيل لكم ارجعوا فارجعوا هو أزكى لكم. This is purer for you. And Allah has perfect knowledge of what you do. والله بما تعملون عليم. Don't be offended. Don't take it personal. You are going to enter. Say that someone is having something. Something is wrong within the family, and they don't want to, a guest or a relative to be there, and they need some time. Maybe somebody went through a difficult day and would like to spend some time alone, etc. You don't have to justify. You don't have to explain. The idea is, if you have been told go back, then you should go back. I have listened to a Muslim scholar speaking about going in the company of another scholar to visit a third one, and that third one told them, "Irji'u, go back." So they went back simply. Later on, Later on, like when they met, he told them that he wanted simply to to try that something. It's a sunnah uh, that he never tried, and he simply wanted to try. Don't be offended. People are free. If they invite you, they should. If they grant you permission, it should be from the bottom of their heart. They should be ready to host you, to take care of you. They have their own. So these are some of the. And if you are, it's in a different context. It's in a different context. If you are granted permission and you do enter, don't overstay. Don't be heavy in a sense. Don't simply stay until they wish you leave. Simply, زُرْ غُبًّا تزداد حُبًّا. Just your visit should be short so that you'll be loved more. And we have cultural clues for guests usually in our part of the world. The last thing that they give to the guest is coffee, whether it was food, whether invitation, even it included lunch or dinner or whatever is the case, fruits, maybe sweets, whatever. The moment they give you the coffee, it means no hospitality after that. Usually, this is the very last thing. It might be accompanied by a piece of chocolate, but the idea coffee means time to leave. You are free to leave. Yeah, no, this is, but it's a nice clue. 1 minute, 5 minutes afterwards, another couple of minutes at the door. But the idea is it's time to leave. So these are parts of the etiquettes of visitation, reflecting on these couple of verses from Surah An-Nur, inshallah. The next in the next verses, we'll speak about lowering one's gaze and etiquette of dressing, and what one can show and who, in terms of what to dress, and in terms of let me say, those who potentially could be husbands or wives, goes in both directions. This formula, but we'll explain it, inshallah, at the beginning of the next session. Until then, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.